half a mo. There we go. Isn't that fabulous? Hi, everybody. Who we got here? Bonjour. Bonjour. Ça va? Oui, c'est pas mal, oui. C'est le second de tasse de espresso that I've drunk. Ugh. Hello, everybody, peeps. I'm going to Turkey to make a movie. Hi, Sen. I got a question for everybody now. Phil's stuck on some train. Christ knows. He's on a train. I don't know where the hell he is. He's got some... very sweet of you, Sen. Thank you. We get the sentiment. A very happy Friday to you all. Happy Friday, happy... And all the way from New York City. So good they named it. Good morning to you, Elizabeth Green. And here we have Mother of Missing in Action.
Oh, my God. Hello.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
Ugh.
He's there. Hang on. Relax. Take a minute. Take a
breather.
Do you know,
can I tell you... Yeah, I will do. But can I tell you something?
Well, you were going to anyway.
Half an hour ago, I was at Euston. I genuinely don't know how I'm back in time. Anyway,
because
hello.
You are not from this planet. There is something unearthly about you. I got a question.
It's certainly unearthly about my breathing. Anyway, how are we?
Just relax. Hi, Asa Don Brown coming in from Northeast.
Well, not cool as a cucumber. I'm schwicked.
Just relax. Just take it easy, baby. Here's a question for you. You had 2 dogs. You now got 1 dog. Lots of people watching have got dogs. Why is it, right? I give Ebony the treat she always loves. Gobbles it down. An hour later, give her the same treat. Or the next day, give her the same treat. Oh, no.
Turns on it. Well, I suppose.
What the hell is this? What is it?
No, but hang on. I think I can answer that because don't we all have days? No, but don't we all have days where we just feel like something or don't feel like something, as the case may be?
Yeah. Which reminds me, have a good weekend, everybody. Bye.
Thanks. Can I just say, I've got a new toy. I was going to set this new toy up for this show today.
Not from Ann Summers, is it?
Thanks to the Northwestern Railway. They paid to that idea. But I'm just going to go and fetch it, okay? Hang on a sec. I'll be back.
I'll take you off, if you'll forgive the expression. There we are. Houston, we have a problem. That's very good. Very good. Apollo, what's it? Apollo 13, wasn't it? There we go. God knows. His life is a panoply of excitement, isn't it? A cornucopia of treats. We never know. Anyway, no. So some days she just loves what I get her. The treats. I got this huge plastic bag of treats. I mean, I spend more on her in a week on treats than I do on my own food. That's telling you something. But then she gives a lot to me, and she's 13, going to be 14 the beginning of next year. So I'm just a little cautious. Are we having the same joke? Sen's just said, Houston, we have a problem. So Linda Dave, with brilliant timing, comes in with Houston, we have a problem. Right. No time for chit chat. I'm bringing on my fabulous guest. It's only Jake Wood.
How are you?
I'm all right, fella. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, don't be daft. I was thrilled. We don't normally have guests on a Friday. It's just me and Phil arsing about. I'm going to bring Phil back. But
speaking of arsing about, hello.
When I was told it was Jake,
Phil, how are you?
Hey,
good, thanks. How are you, sir?
Yeah,
now I know
good.
You're probably doing back-to-back interviews and God knows what, so we'll crack on. Apart from,
no worries.
We love you on everything that you do because you're
Oh,
splendid. No, I'm serious. You always give it 100%.
I mean, I could give or take, but Russ loves everything you do.
Yeah,
shut up, Phil.
Yeah.
You've never met him, and he looks hardcore. He looks hardcore. He beat the crap out of
Hey, I wouldn't say that if he was in studio.
No, you wouldn't. You say, "Oh, hello, Mr. Wood. How lovely. Can I get you some tea, Mr. Wood? Thank you, Mr. Wood." Right, you're here to talk about something very, very important, not just strictly in EastEnders, although we could talk about that 4 hours. But tell us why you're here, Jake.
Well, listen, Russ. For the second year in a row, they've well, I'm going to talk about flu vaccines. They've lowered the age at which you can get a free flu vaccine to 50. Now, I was 50 this year, back in July, and I've only just found out in the last couple of weeks, and I think it's just on here today to raise awareness. Really, I think there's a campaign to let people know. I think there's a lot of people that aren't aware that you can get the flu vaccine for free from 50 upwards. It used to be 65, didn't it? I think everyone's aware of that. But
I got to tell you, Jake, why I was keen on this. I always, I'm like first in the queue for the flu. It was nearly a poem vaccine. Always, I'm there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I mean, did you say, Jake? Did you just say that you've turned 50, sir?
Yes, yes.
Oh, God, man, how the hell? What's your secret for crying? You could have fooled me. Wow.
Success makes you look young.
We obviously have the same barber, Phil, don't we?
Yeah, totally. Honestly, he's brilliant. So...
I know. Yeah, it's weird turning 50. Like, I turned 50 in July. I had a bit of a wobble about it, if I'm honest. There's a bit of a funny, it's not something exactly to look forward to. I was thinking anyway in the build up, but since I turned 50, I'm loving life. I think it's a great age.
It's so interesting you say that. I know that's not why you're here, but I had a huge birthday 3 weeks ago tomorrow. And I was like in a hell of a state about it. I really got in the start. Oh, yeah, geez.
Yeah.
I really got wound up. And I thought, well, it is. The alternative isn't so good. So let's just embrace it. Let's just enjoy it and get the hell on with it. Right.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's not much you can do to stop the march of time, is there?
Well, you can, but it's a kind of one-way trip. You don't want to be going there.
But certainly one of the things, as you said, Russ, like that you can do to protect yourself is to get the flu jab. It's going to protect you. It's going to protect people around you. If you've got any elderly people around you, family, friends. And I think it's maybe a little bit overlooked the whole flu situation. Like obviously we've had COVID last couple of years. They are separate things. So you
completely
do need to get your
yes.
Than your
but
COVID
isn't it
jab.
Interesting though? What the last couple of years has shown us though is that people are really suspicious now when it comes to vaccinations. Now I know what people are going to say. Hang on a second, the COVID vaccination was done in a matter of months, but the flu vaccination has been around for a while, so therefore I trust that a bit more. But people are vaccine cynical. Why does this mean so much to you?
Well, I'm not sure why people should be. Like when we were growing up, we always had tetanus jabs, then we polio jabs. We always vaccinated against all these sort of things. The flu jab's been around for years and years and years, isn't it? I've always had a flu jab. Even when I was at EastEnders, we used to have a doctor come in, and the actors that wanted it would have flu jabs. I've always seen the benefit of having a flu jab. I've never seen a reason against it. Is to protect you and protect those around you. So
I wanted to do the gag, and I couldn't think of the name of the character of the doctor on EastEnders.
Oh, Dr. Leg. Dr. Leg.
Yeah,
no, it wasn't Dr. Leg.
Yes, and Dr. Leg comes round.
No, it wasn't. Well, yeah, it might have been on the show, but it wasn't in real life. He wasn't working part time. The actor wasn't working part time backstage.
You're going to be telling me next Barbara Windsor wasn't actually a landlady, but you're not going to fool me with that.
We're going to get very confused if we go down this road.
The flu vaccine is. I don't see to be honest with you, people just say, "Oh, it's the flu." Like it's not. If you get hit by the flu, Jake, it knocks you sideways. I mean,
I think people are. Yeah, I think people have forgotten maybe how serious it can be. It can be very serious for a lot of people. So, so get yourself flu jabbed up. Yeah, as I said, 50 and above, it's free, very easy to access. Just get on the NHS website or contact your local pharmacy. They'll just book you straight in. I've got mine booked for next week. Easy, really easy, and I'd recommend anyone to do it.
And it's blooming quick. I mean, it's no palaver. You're in, you're out, boom. It takes like not even a minute or something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Also, Jake, and I don't know if you can answer this. Every year they slightly change it because what they're trying to do, if my understanding is correct, who knows, is anticipate what strain of flu is going to cause havoc with us in that particular winter. Is that right?
Yes. I think so. Yeah, I'm not an expert. So if you want more information, I think go on the NHS website is where I would direct people to. But I think they always go off the Australia flu. Isn't that correct?
Yes,
I think
that's right. That's right.
They always take the lead from there. And I know that the Australia flu this year has been particularly bad, and it's something the NHS are worried about. I wouldn't know particularly what strains they're looking. I wouldn't know any of the technical stuff, but I do know they do take it off there. And so listen, the Australian flu has been very bad this year, so I don't know how that bodes for us. But regardless, I think everyone should get their flu vaccine if you're 50 and above. I think it's raising awareness.
And Phil made a good point, and you're making the same point. I think we've really got to separate. If you don't want to get the COVID thing, well, let's not go into that. That's another thing. But there is no controversy. I'm sticking my neck out a bit here, Jake, but there's no controversy about the flu vaccine. Just get it.
Absolutely. I think you're absolutely right, Ross. There's no controversy about the flu vaccine. Also, I mean, if you've got the flu vaccine and if you get the flu and COVID, I think that can be particularly bad as well. So although I don't think the flu vaccine stops you getting the flu,
it doesn't.
it certainly makes the symptoms a lot easier. You're not going to be hit as
It's very
strongly.
important, Jake, to underline that. No, it's not a miracle. It hasn't come from the planet Krypton. You might still get flu, but you won't get it as badly, and it won't just whack you out as if you hadn't had the vaccine.
And I think I think it can prevent you passing it on, as I said, to elderly relatives, elderly friends who could be more vulnerable, or people with underlying health issues, obviously more vulnerable. So I think
I think it's important to stress that probably the way that actually works is, rather than to say it sort of stops you from passing it on or helps to stop you from passing on, it helps you fight the virus, and therefore by you helping to fight the virus means you overcome it a little quicker and potentially lower the risk of passing it on to others. Is probably more the way I think it works, rather than just sort of to the actual vaccination itself helps pass it on to others. But even so, it's still essential, if you're going to, especially what we've seen from the last couple of years, to protect those who are vulnerable. We have a duty to do that. I know some people would be forgiven for thinking they didn't, but they do, frankly.
Yeah.
Now I know you're not. I know I've got you for a very limited time. I know that. So I've got to ask you this. About the flu vaccine. How much fun was Strictly? Sorry, I gotta know, because I love that show. I love it.
Yeah, Strictly was amazing. It was like an incredibly intense, hard work. I'm not going to lie. It's incredibly hard work when you're on that show, because you're doing a dance every week. And if you have no dance experience, as I didn't, it's very taxing mentally, physically, very tiring. But yeah, just incredible. Just it's a beast of a show, isn't it? It's a juggernaut. It just continues from strength to strength.
This is season 20, I believe, isn't it?
Incredible,
crazy.
Incredible. Yeah.
One of the things I've always been curious is all the people who go on it say, "Oh, it's been like the greatest thing, and I've loved it, and what a lovely team." When you've done TV, that's not always the case, but everyone seems to really, really enjoy it.
No, I think the team on that are quite special. And it's a little bit like my time in EastEnders. I was on EastEnders for 15 years, but there had been crew members and cameramen and sound guys that had been there from the beginning. So you're not just talking about the actors that have been there a long time. You're talking about all the crew and the people working at the studios and all that sort of stuff, who really helped to make the show what it is really. From someone working on the show's perspective, it's not just what you see on screen. Often the feeling of a show can be influenced by what's backstage and the people working on it. And yeah, EastEnders was like that. EastEnders was a family, still is a family, an incredible family. And Strictly is the same. The dancers, the makeup people, the camera guys, the sound guys, they've all been there for years and years and years. And they are a family. It's like a big family. So yeah, it's a show I'll always check in on, because
it comes across. I know that's not, but in terms of mental health, what we're all here for on MRS, it comes across. You can tell shows which are toxic backstage. I mean, you can just, Phil's been in the industry a long time, as have I, but you just know it.
I think you've been in the industry slightly longer than I have, but yes.
Well, I'd have to be, slightly, like twice as long, but literally, but. The shows which have that warmth and that energy, that's all what happens. Look, Jake, I know you've got to do about 1 million interviews. I really appreciate you coming on.
It's fine. It's fine.
Thank you so much.
On the show. Listen,
really appreciate it.
Keep up the good work, guys. And I mean, that conversation about mental health and stuff is so important. And you guys are just doing a brilliant job of that. So thank you on behalf of all the listeners.
Wow, that means so much to me and Phil and the gang. Really, thank you so much. Have a lovely weekend.
Thanks, you too, guys. And remember, if you're 50 and above, get yourself the flu jab, get yourself sorted out.
For free. And that's the best price you're going to hear today.
Yeah.
Jake, take care.
Thanks.
Farewell,
See you, fella. Bye.
Bye-bye.
What a lovely guy. What a nice guy.
You see, once in a while you meet people in this industry who are actually quite down to earth and genuinely nice people.
Very nice.
And it doesn't happen every day, but, you do.
It's such a nice, that was nice. I heard. What a nice man. What a nice man. And that's why I wanted to grab my new. Normally don't have guests on a Friday. Keep it right.
Well,
tons of comments coming in. What is this toy you've got? Now I'm curious. What the hell?
Well, I wondered, I thought now that's just teasing over the whole interview with Jake, that you'd have to wonder what it is.
Well, I wasn't. I was concentrating on Jake Wood because he's important.
Oh.
Yeah, I was not thinking about you and your new gadget. I'm going to be honest with you. I just wasn't.
Oh, for goodness sake. Well,
This
that's
is
just
interesting.
really
Coming in from
Well,
Houston,
anyway, look,
Texas.
okay, so
wait
here we go.
wait a minute. Julie Voice is in Houston in Texas. As an asthmatic, I have a flu shot every year and have done for many years. Excellent. Dave Sleet, who is far from well at the moment. Dave, we wish you well. Greetings, one and all. And Scarlet Red. Look at that picture. Have a good day, guys. Thank you, Scarlet Red. Appreciate it.
So, are you ready?
Yeah, go on.
I got myself a new halo.
Have
I
you
finally,
been asked?
I finally succumbed.
Was
I got
that
a ring
it?
light. No.
That
That's
was
just,
it.
No,
Jesus,
that's
what
just
a
one part
freaking
of it.
disappointment.
No, excuse me. Just
right, okay.
finish here for goodness
God,
sake.
you're dragging this out. Come on.
What do you mean I'm dragging it out? You're the one who's saying
Because
hang on
you
a
said, "Oh, we've got
second,
this new
hang on.
toy," and everyone around the world's going, "What the hell have you got? You've got a part of
Well,
a drum
look.
kit. You got a cymbal.
I'm not
Where the hell have you got this?
Simple. Right, you ready for this? Look at this.
Is
right?
that a hat? It's not a new hat of yours with your hat collection. It looks like one of your new hats.
Oh, for crying out loud.
hell,
Seriously, man.
I-
Right, okay, look, you ready for
People
this?
in
Look,
America are watching this
Ready?
going, "They're not well, these boys." Go on.
it's a pop-up green screen.
It's a tent. You're going camping
Look at
in
that.
your
No, I've
three-piece suit.
done enough of that this year. Thank you very
Well, I
much.
thought so. I didn't
Cool.
want to say
Gracious me,
anything.
the microphone's just dropped off. Hang on,
All right.
it's
It's
not
a
horrible.
pop-up green screen.
Yeah, look at that. So
yeah,
now
I bought. Do you know what? I bought a green screen. I had to send it back. It was the size of the Albert Hall. The bloody thing arrived.
yeah,
It was
this is
huge.
quite large actually.
Yeah, I know. So where do you?
Okay.
I'm going to regret asking this, everybody. Where do you stick it? Fill in your own gags. I haven't got time. Go on.
Well, it's funny you say that because
Well, it's not hilarious, but okay. Go on.
It's got a strap on.
This gets worse.
It goes on the back of the chair. You're revolting.
Phil and his strap on. Okay. I can see where this show
Goes
is
on,
heading.
it straps on the
pandemonium.
back,
Yeah. Oh, well, there's a novelty. Okay.
right? And then
Aza, it's too long. I've known him for years. He doesn't need
you
encouragement.
do up the Velcro,
Now what?
right? And then oh, hang on. Now I move in a bit. Hang on.
Yeah,
Oops.
okay.
Let's get that other
This is
shirt out.
so exciting.
Hang on.
Okay,
No,
and now
excuse
what?
me, this is quite exciting.
Well, it is quite good. Are you going to do something
Yeah,
clever now?
Hang on, the other chair.
And if it's any good, I'm going to buy one.
Hang on.
I'll buy one of these.
Okay, right. So now, okay.
Okay.
Am I in center?
Now you look like you're in Kew Gardens in a green shed.
There we go. Right now, so
All right,
lower
okay.
this a little bit. Okay, so there you go. Right, so my green screen's in place now. Are you ready for
Yeah.
this? Okay.
I'm
Now-
overexcited. I'm overexcited.
Okay, well, don't get too excited.
Well, no,
Right, anyways.
this is my overexcited face.
Okay, so now what I can do is I
Yeah,
can
in
choose.
your own time.
I could go back in time, and oh look at that! I'm back in the old studios.
Is that it? Are you going to do more? Oh, that's really. Oh, I like that. This is cool as hell. Interestingly. Oh, I like it. I'm going to get one of these.
now-
Ping me where you bought it.
Suddenly,
Yeah.
ha ha ha! Not laughing now, are we?
Mm.
Hang on. Oh, there it goes. What the hell's going on? That's it. That's the
Well,
ticket.
okay, that's nice.
Marvelous.
I like that. I like that. Azadon Brown is saying you might want to use protection when setting up such a large screen up, especially eyewear.
Well, I dare say. Oh, hang
you
on, my
lost me
lights are-
there.
I don't understand.
Look at this. It's moving. Yeah, well, yeah, hang on. Now,
It's
Francois, hello. I need one of those from a Zoom meeting.
Francois. Absolutely, this is perfect for that. I'm going to send you the link.
I'm not sure I understand.
Oh, Siri's talking to me now. Anyway, there you go. Isn't that nice?
Oh, hang on.
Asa
hang
Don
on.
Brown, a failed joke of what? Is this my career, or are you talking about what you just said? I don't understand.
I don't know. What does it say? This may be the most compelling thing I've seen all day. Jesus, get out more. Christ.
I think there's an element
Phil,
of sarcasm.
Phil
in
has definitely peaked.
that. What? You peaked too
Phil
early.
has definitely peaked too early today. Well, here's my big news. I've been doing.
Well, I'm
intermittent-
loving my green screen.
It's very good. Send me the link. I'll buy one because the last one was so huge, and the problem with it is when you packed it away,
this
it looked like you
quite
had
large,
a tent
though,
in your
wasn't it
living
now?
room.
Yeah, no,
That
this
looks
is
really
quite
great.
large. This is about 1.2 meters wide.
What's it in old money then? What's that? 3 feet?
I'll have to look it up because, to be honest with you, I'm
Oh,
not
bloody
sure.
no, better
I mean,
than
I'd
this,
say
the hell.
it's got to be about maybe.
Oh! I see.
3
Oh,
feet?
look. After. Oh, thank you, darling Phil. What am I? Chopped liver? Fine. See how it is.
Francois, we still haven't arranged a little drinking session.
There's no little
Just saying.
drinking. Listen, you in the same sentence as little and drinking.
Yeah, I was
is
right.
A non
3 point-
sequitur.
It's 3.5 feet wide.
Okay, that's all right. So it folds down to sod off. So that's all right. That's okay. All right, I'm going to get
it's
that.
very
So
good.
it just attaches to the back of a chair, you say?
Yeah, all done with Velcro. We're laughing.
Paul Rose is bitching. Why am I showing up as Facebook user? It's Paul Rose here. I'll tell you why, Paul. He doesn't talk like that at all. I just thought I'd do that voice.
I was going to say,
because the EastEnders things. I'm up for a part. I'm up for a big part in EastEnders. I'm not.
Oh, look, I've gone away. That's nice.
We could only dream. Because you're watching, we could just such an ass. That's no. You see, now that doesn't look quite so realistic because there's slight kind of. That's fantastic. I love that.
On air, mate. It's the
I
way I
love
roll.
that. That's really cool.
Thank
And you don't get anyway, Paul. Let me answer the question, Paul Rose. You're getting it Facebook user. You're watching this on my espresso bar group, and on the espresso bar group, there's a button you have to press. Strap on and peaking too early. What does it come to? Laughing so much. Thanks, fellas. Dave Sleet.
Oh, it's showtime. Look.
Oh, hang on. Oh, that is. Well, yeah, that's a little bit. It's a bit camp. François, I love you all. I love you most of all, Russ, as I knew you first. That's my day made. Jake Wood in an interview and Francoise Pascal saying she loves me most of all. Life doesn't get any better. That's it. That's as happy as I'm going to be. What's this? Oh, hang on. No, I'm watching on the MRS page like I was absolutely no idea. Phil knows these things. Oh, look, suddenly you're Roger Waters. Now, Ian Oakley. Ian Oakley.
Coming to you live from your living room.
It's so weird. People put that up and everyone goes, Christ. Oh, that's quite nice. That's very nice. I like that.
Should we live that? There you go. I'll let people think I live in some sort of fancy schmancy apartment or something.
Yeah, or that you can read.
I can't read quite yet because there's books behind.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ian. Good afternoon to you. Yeah. So we've solved the green suit crisis. Oh God Almighty! Can you keep your social life, Phil, off my airtime? Don't be unhappy, Phil. We will arrange a drink very soon. Sexy
You see?
hell. Anyway, there we are. Ask any bloke why you watch Mind Your Language. Oh no. Jesus, smoking. I think my TV used to melt. The screen would melt when Françoise walked across the set. Tu parles français? Un petit peu. Très mal.
Je ne comprends pas.
Oui, well, that's you with a menu. What's this? Do you want a Big Mac and you want fries with that? That's kind of it. It's very good, this green scene. Was it expensive? Not too bad?
No, and that's the best thing of all. This little studio setup. Ian Oakley says him as well. AKA moi aussi. So here, right?
Yep.
With this green screen and the lighting, bundle 40 quid. Just saying.
That's very good. I'm going to get that. I'm going to order it after the show. I'd try it out. But you've got to strap it to the back.
Yeah, but this is the problem.
Move on with the gag.
Yeah, but the problem is you stand up.
Well, I do, but I can sit down because the stand-up desk can. I prefer standing up. Which is why when I got the green screen, it was gigantic.
Yeah, maybe what you could do is maybe you could just strap it to the back of the chair and stand up behind it, in front of it.
What about
maybe like you're about
just
to
like a
present
mutant ninja turtle? What about if I was like a mutant ninja turtle and just put the whole thing on my back? I've had a hell of a long day so far. I really have. I've had a very long day. What?
I'm just going to practice reading the weather over the Pennines today. Yeah, that's the way.
Oh, that's what they do, isn't it? Because they're not actually they're looking at a TV screen like you are. They hope they're pointing in the right direction. Strap it to you. Look, clockmaker to the stars. Strap it to your waist, Russ. Less of a waist now, thanks to my intermittent fasting and carnivore diet. Do you know what? Sod all's happening. I've reached a bit of a plateau.
Says I tried switching it off and on again. I don't think the show was
With
that
what?
bad.
What?
Asa Don Brown says, so many jokes, so many thoughts crossing my mind. Well, Asa, we are a very thought-provoking program. That's what we pride on.
Thought-provoking. Unbelievable. We are unbelievable with our thought-provokingness. Yeah, always trying to.
Agent provocateur. Back to the French.
What, are you buying their underwear again? I thought you got banned.
I was on
Twitter. I was on Twitter yesterday, and some idiots were saying, you know that idiot, I'm sorry, he's a professional idiot, Femi. I don't even know what his surname is. Just Femi.
Ole Wale.
I presumed it was Femi Dom. Anyway, that's
no, Femi Ole Wale. I know him.
Do you? He's a twat. And you can tell him.
Bizarrely enough, he's well intentioned. He's quite a nice chap, but politically, he's a bit backwards.
Politically,
there's nothing I wouldn't say anything to his face.
Politically, he has the nuance of a coffee cup. Anyway, so he was
Probably
agreeing
say the
with
same about us. To be fair,
I don't care. I don't care. Canard, oui, c'est vrai. Ian Canard. There's a point to this. So he was saying, I hate, the bottom line was, I'm translating, that poppy, because I see you wearing a poppy there, it's about violence and people killing and blood and blah, 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 blah. And I got so pissed off that I had to go for a blood test yesterday in hospital, nothing, just a standard thing. And at London Bridge Station, all the guys were in uniform. Hello, sailor. And I went up and I thanked them for their service. And I bought one of those metal things and I gave a donation. And it's great. It's on my hoodie, on my hoodie at the moment. I should have pinned it to my shirt. But I think people who don't like it, the argument is, I'm sorry, you're allowed to open your big gob and say you don't like it, because people like my dad and everybody else and all the other generations before and since fought for your freedom. So shut up. Shut your mouth about it. Sorry, I feel very strongly. I must admit,
what I was going to say, I agree completely. And I think anyone who holds that view of the poppies, that they shouldn't be worn because they represent war, blah, blah, blah. No, what they represent, you moron, is very simple. They represent those who fought for freedom in this country, so you're able to open your gob in the way that you do. Yeah. So frankly, you should just show respect.
Go to China and try opening your mouth there, you idiot. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time that my friend in Los Angeles, I'm going to say it before she comes on so she doesn't have to blush. All I hear, my friend's been really, really ill with long COVID out in LA, Lloyd, been really ill. So I've been trying to phone and see he's all right. So we're doing lots of WhatsApp. All I can get from him, nearly Friday. I said, yeah, no, it's nearly Friday. He's been ill for over 5 weeks and been out there stuck for weeks, right? Can't get back. He's too ill. And it's like, Chantal's on Friday. I said, I know Chantal's on. And then I can't do the rest of the conversation. Just to say you got a huge fan in Los Angeles, despite him being dead ill. I know, it's embarrassing.
Hello, Lloyd. If Lloyd is listening right now, hello, Lloyd.
Oh, God. Yeah, now he'll be insufferable. Insufferable.
Well, I'm sorry he's feeling crappy.
I've never seen him. I'd be honest with you, Chantas, I told him, and I'm very open about it. I hadn't seen him. I knew he was that ill. He'd been in and out of Cedars Sinai, which you will, of course, driven past 1,000 times in LA, because it's gigantic.
It is enormous.
And it's several blocks, this hospital. And after I got off the phone, I saw him, and he could only talk to me for about 20 seconds. That's how ill he was. I burst into tears. He's one of my oldest friends. I burst into tears. I was so shocked. He looks much better now. Doesn't look great, but he looks infinitely better than he did. So, Lloydski, we wish you well, fella. Gave us all a fright.
I've gone to visit him.
Have you noticed? I don't know if you've been watching this. He's bought himself a new toy, a green screen. So now he's like I don't know.
He's insufferable.
He's like Piers Morgan suddenly.
I've been sitting here in my office thinking, do you guys not know that both Zooms and Microsoft Teams and everything that we've all been communicating on for the last 3 years already has a virtual background filter?
Yes.
No.
And to be fair, Chantal,
but it moves. It moves around.
Yes, to be fair, this software that we use to broadcast this program has exactly the same. It has virtual background. But the truth is the virtual background is so rubbish. It just blurs the lines. So at least with the green screen, as you know, it just solidifies the background and makes it a bit easier.
Right.
See, if I do that, if I do that, it should be coming up. It won't. It's not great. Then
there you go.
I can do that. So I can do that, but
and your arms disappeared.
Then you get, I'm moving. I might just leave it up. Sod it. I might just leave it up, just so I can be in with the gang and everybody thinks like Phil. Look! I've started to play the piano. Everybody. Yeah. I bought myself a grand piano.
Well, fantastic.
No, you see, this is why it doesn't work. So I'm going to get rid of it because it's quite annoying. It's quite
annoying.
But
just for information, for people who aren't in the industry, a green screen can be any color. It depends on which color you decide to take out of the system. So it could be yellow, in which case you process the image to take everything yellow, or it could be blue, or it could be any color really. I think so. Anyway, just
From
a
green
Well,
screen.
white doesn't
Wait,
work
you're going to
so
love
well,
this.
but
From
yes.
green screen, we go to
Yeah.
Screen Queen.
you're very
I
clever.
amaze myself some
In
weeks.
that case, you do know
Yes,
it,
go
it
on.
must
Go
mean
on.
that it's time for.
It's for.
Oh yes. Oh, I really
Strictly-
miss playing.
Strictly
it
must be
hang
one
on, it
phone
won't
call
stop.
away now.
Help! Stop. There you go. It doesn't stop.
Strictly must be simply a phone call away for the 2023 season. Oh yeah, gotta be
That
guaranteed
worked
now.
much better last time.
So
Well,
we're not losing you to the jungle, then, you two.
Oh, I couldn't do that. Shoot. Oh, I couldn't think of anything worse. Tell me something, Screen Queen OBE.
Yes.
Matt Hancock. I'm not getting into the politics. Has he not realised that it's the public that vote for you to do the bush tucker trials and eating kangaroos,
He's in big
knackers,
trouble.
and whatever the hell? He is going to be wishing. This is a terrible decision.
Yeah.
I know he's obviously been offered a fortune, but what a bad decision.
But the thing is that normally the most unpopular people get voted out of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here very, very quickly. So he could make an enormous amount of money for 2 or 3 days of hardship or relative hardship.
I think it's well, isn't it? I think it's the first week they're all staying in, and then the voting
Right.
off begins.
Okay.
I will bet you dinner anywhere you like, anywhere, lunch or
Okay.
dinner, that the
Yeah.
public will keep him in for so long just to put him through.
Punish him. I agree completely.
I have to say they've been very interesting in picking such a hate figure because, you know, it's, normally one watches those programs because you're sort of enjoying the company. But this time around, I mean, even I feel compelled to be watching on Sunday night, and I never watch it.
No, I gave up a long time. I used to like it, but I gave up a long time ago. And to be honest with you, please don't think I'm being rude. I've never been a Boy George fan. It just leaves me stone cold. And so I have no interest in what he's doing. I mean, I think he's like the late Pete Burns. He kind of thinks himself as a modern Oscar Wilde, and they're just not. They're not Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
That's
And I'm
what saying.
surprised.
Sorry, I'm
like
not being rude about him. I'm sure he's a lovely fellow, but not my cup. You know, doesn't do it.
Not your cup of tea. Mike Tyndall, however, is a very nice bloke, but I was slightly surprised at the Queen's granddaughter's husband going into the jungle.
Oh, I was going to say, basically, Her Late Majesty's grandson-in-law. So it's a
Ka-ching, ka-ching. Shantas, give an idea to everybody watching all over the world. What sort of fees do you get for this sort of thing? Because people say, wonder why they do it. You know, they think they're getting $5 grand or something.
Well, people do it for the money or to increase their profile. Generally, they do it for the money because a lot of people actually don't want to do it. They don't want to subject themselves to the sort of awfulness of sitting in a basket of bats for a week or whatever it may be. Allegedly, Matt Hancock is getting £400,000.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, but the fees have come down. So I was listening to a podcast yesterday with Alistair Campbell, who some people will remember was the director of communications for.
How can we forget Mr. Sex Up the Dossier?
Indeed. And he said that he had been approached many times to do many of these shows. And I think he said that he had been approached. When he was approached, it was nearly a 7-figure sum. But I know from other people who've been approached in the past that it certainly got up to 750,000 from people I'd heard of that I knew personally.
So that takes one hell of a lot of resistance to be able to turn down that level of money.
It's life-changing. It's life-changing, that amount of money.
It would be totally life-changing for me.
Yeah.
It would be totally life-changing. Oh no, my daughter who's a doula and has brought into the world, brought into the world many babies, has just quit. She just said that was the last. She sent a photo to me of her walking across Westminster Bridge at 6 o'clock this morning.
Wow.
And she said last ever. I thought, oh, last for today, or last of your. And she said no, last ever. That's it, because she's got 1 million downloads on her podcasts. So she's not doing that anymore.
Incredible.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, no.
That's fantastic. Well, a whole new career awaits her.
Yeah, we're thinking of letting her run men's radio.
She's worked her socks off. I mean, I just want to say these things do not come, without a lot of effort. She's put 2.5 solid years of really just banging away at the coalface to get there. And suddenly last week, the 1 millionth download of the Self-Care Club was done. So that was a lovely thing. I was very proud
That
of her. I
is
must be.
fabulous.
Yeah, I was very proud of her.
Good for her.
Yeah, why
Carrying
not?
on the family tradition.
Weird, isn't it? Weird. We never talked about it. We never talked about it at all. Ever. It's not a tradition I would ever wish to propagate. But there we go. She's gone and done it. She's really good at it. So there we are. Right. What has come across your screen?
Well, I apologise for forgetting my poppy, but I was thinking about all things military this week because everybody is raving about the new series on the BBC called SAS Rogue Heroes. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yep. Seen the adverts for it.
Big
On
Sunday
the tube and
night
everything.
drama. It's written by the guy who wrote Peaky Blinders, which is why everybody is calling it Khaki Blinders.
Is that Stephen Knight?
It's Stephen Knight, exactly.
Who was, just to
Yes.
round this off completely, who I worked with for years at Capital. He was in our advertising and marketing department, Stephen Knight.
Really?
Yeah, Steve.
That's the thing.
Two
Good for
guys.
him.
Two guys are Stephen Knight and
Yes.
Mike Whitehill. And they
Wow.
then left Capital. We saw them all the time. And the third member was Sophie Rhys-Jones, now the Countess of
gonna say.
Wessex, as you know.
The
And they
wife of-
went off and they wrote with David Briggs, the creator of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So they did all the scripts for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And then Stephen Knight just went stratospheric in Hollywood. Stratospheric.
Well, that's absolutely
Yeah, I mean,
fascinating.
he wrote Taboo, the Tom Hardy series. Remember to see that? That was
He did.
fantastic. Oh,
Yeah.
he's a
And
brilliant
Peaky
writer.
Blinders has been a phenomenon. Absolutely. They're on to I think they finished the last series. So yeah, this is his latest thing, and it's about the start of the SAS, which is an extraordinary story. SAS, for those that don't know, are the special air services that were created basically by three guys working for part of the British Army in 1941, I think, in North Africa. And they basically are three bad boys who decide that actually following convention and following the rules is not the way to win wars. And so they create this little group of bad boys who go behind enemy lines and start behaving in a sort of non-normal British military way.
So basically, Chantal, forgive me for interrupting,
Yeah.
but
No, not at
imagine
all.
Phil at the
Yes.
Soho Whiskey Club. He's on his fourth single malt. Is that basically what you're saying?
Yes.
Please, I have a reputation to keep up. It's more
usually
like
the third one you're starting the fights. Anyway, there we are. Okay, it's a fantastic story.
Can I just say, speaking of Peaky Blinders, the other day I had a right old chuckle because there is a coffee shop in Finchley. This is no word of a lie. It's perfectly true. Just by Finchley Road Tube Station. And they've come up with the most fantastic name. They call themselves Perky Blenders. I thought it was brilliant.
Good for
I
them.
just appreciated
love
that
that.
humour, that's all. So.
I love that. Although I'm sorry, my absolute favourite.
The hairdressers that's
in
called Curl Up
Queen-
and Die.
No, I'm not going to do Curl Up and Die and We'll Die for You and all that. Was on. It's the oldest. I think it's the oldest laundrette in London, and it's on Queensway, opposite where the Whitelist used to be.
Yeah.
And they kept the original signage from when it started in the 40s, I guess. And it's the Go Gay Laundrette.
Oh, I remember the
cannot
Go-Gay
Stop. I just think, there's a TV sitcom waiting to be written at the Go Gay Laundrette.
I
It's
think
fantastic.
it was a chain. I think it was a chain. Maybe it wasn't, but I do
don't know,
remember
but
it.
it's got that fabulous old writing. The typeface. Oh, it's just I love it. I love all that
Brilliant.
sort of stuff.
Anyway, SAS Rogue Heroes.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Six-part series. 6-1 hours Sunday night, absolutely worth it. It's interesting in how it's done, and they've sort of updated it to make it feel modern. So there's a big sort of rock music track going on. There's lots of swearing, so it feels like a very modern piece, even though it's set in 1941. But
Vera
it's very-
Lynn's on crack.
Yeah, it's very
Very
funny. It's
modern.
really worth watching. It's very funny. And the three lead characters, who are in fact the three guys who created the SAS, which was formalized after they, went off into the desert to do naughty things. It was then formalized into a group. And that's in episode 2, where Dominic West comes in as the sort of colonel or brigadier and sort of says, well, we better put some, you know, some sort of shape around this and call it something. And that's when it becomes the Special Air Services. But it's really funny and it's really good. And it's a bit of a boys' thing. There aren't many girls in it. There's one wonderful sort of French, beautiful spy.
That's Francoise Pascal, obviously.
It could have been.
Of course, it was only be Francoise.
It was around the time when Berlin had that big hit with White Sniffs of Dover.
Oh, God.
You're very welcome. Anyway.
Anyway, that is really worth watching. And then I was thinking again about mental health and where people come from and the trials and tribulations that one takes along one's journey of life. And there's a really nice 1-hour documentary featuring a guy I know from Los Angeles who actually is a British actor called Jimmy Akinbola, who is of Nigerian descent.
Now,
but do you know
I know
Jimmy?
exactly what you're going to say about this, because we featured him on another station I work at over the weekend just gone.
Right.
And he was talking about it. And yeah, it's a fascinating documentary. So I know what you're going to say, and I'm looking forward to seeing this. So.
It's really good. So Jimmy has appeared in a lot of things. He's really started out as a theatre actor, then did a lot of television, from Holby to Rev. He was in Rev. He's recently been in Ted Lasso, and he's just taken over the remake of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in Los Angeles.
No way.
Yeah, and it had always been his dream from growing up in a white foster family to get to Hollywood. Because every time there was a black actor on television, his mum would say, oh, there's a black actor in this, sit down and watch To Sir with Love. So they were very understanding of his ethnic background. He'd had a very, very troubled start in life. His mother was a schizophrenic. His father thought his mother had had an affair and that actually Jimmy wasn't his son. So the father left. The mother was in distress and went to social services and left Jimmy behind at social services in East London. So Jimmy grew up in a white family with white brothers and sisters, and always with this hope that one day he would get to Hollywood. And he has now indeed got to Hollywood. But he interviews both Lenny James and Chris Akabusi, who also came through the care system and clearly have survived and thrived, which is wonderful and terrific. But I think 40% of all children waiting to be adopted or waiting to be fostered are from Black families. But it's not really part of Black culture to be foster parents. So often you will find these interracial families where kids of a different colour are growing up in the family. And that's clearly, it's great for them to have a family, but problems get bedded in early.
My cousin did this. I turned up one day and
really,
and I thought, who was these two sitting in the kitchen? Oh, didn't I mention? No, you didn't. And I think they were there for quite a few years, and they've grown up and gone now. More than that, I don't know. But it was interesting. I mean, she did it because they'd kind of been abandoned.
Yeah,
it's kind of a very long, complex story, and she just couldn't bear it. She couldn't bear it, so she took them under her wing.
Well, it's a sad
big
story.
thing to do.
Really uplifting, and it's really worth watching. And you see how people come from, really tough backgrounds and actually make something of their lives. And every time I've met Jimmy, he was still is a member of BAFTA, and I used to see him a lot in Los Angeles out there. He was always the most cheerful person. I mean, just always a big smile on his face. So life has been good to him, and I think.
I wonder, just to put my mental health hat on just for a sec, and we talk about this a lot. What you put out is if you get back. If you're a negative person, you will attract horrible negative people, and your life will be poo. And if you're a positive person, you tend to, draw that. And I wonder if his basic makeup and his basic DNA and that aura of happiness and positivity is why he is the success that he is. It's something that fascinates me. Good for him.
Interview with his foster mum who took him in. She's just a salt of the earth human being, and she talks about going to the home where he was waiting to be chosen, if you like, and the mum saw him, or the foster mum to be saw him and thought, sweet little boy, I'd like to take him. But there was a little black girl sitting there saying, well, will you take me? And she said, well, I'm taking Jimmy. And she said, if I take my skin off, will you take me? Because she thought that if she took her black skin off, she was more likely to get chosen. I mean, some heartbreaking stories, but it's a great documentary. It's only 1 hour. And if you're feeling low, it's something to watch that'll cheer you up.
Wowza.
Yeah.
Wow. Isn't that awful? Take the skin. God damn.
I know.
Do you know, when I was at school, I'm not just saying, it was one of my best mates, Nick. And we're still in touch 8,000 years later. Although he had a big wobble and wouldn't talk to anybody who was white. It was interesting. And then he thought, what the hell am I doing? Oh yeah. He worked for the United Nations. Spot the irony. And I tracked him down, and I phoned him, and he wouldn't, and nothing. And then he wrote me this whole long thing about racism. Then and now as we've got older, he's like, oh, what the hell? And so we just chit chat and do silly jokes like we did when we were 14 years old. And
I was going to say, some things never change, right?
But he went through this whole arc. He got, and he's very political. He's a very political guy, and a super brain. You
know what they say about people with high foreheads.
Yeah, don't put a light on top. But there was a teacher. They would inspect our hands. You know, they would. This is the sort of racism I hate. But you don't realize that when you're a little child.
Yeah.
And there's Nicky, as it was, and you know, they inspect our hands, make sure our hands were clean. It was a pretty tough school, and every week this bloody awful teacher, who mercifully is now dead, I hope he rots, you know, would make some awful joke about go and scrub your hands.
You're still getting over the loss of him.
Do you know, when all our schoolmates get together, all our history gang get together, when he said he'd died and we all cheered and saluted in the restaurant, clink glass, he was an absolute bastard of the first order. He would be in jail. He would be in jail.
Wow.
Without a doubt. But you know, talking about, you know, if I could take my skin off and be white, I'd be adopted. You're thinking, Jesus, we have to stand on the desk and they inspect our hands, you know, go and scrub your hands, they're black. It's like, oh, come on.
Oh.
So I take that to heart, you know. I make light of it, but not deep down. I think it's disgusting. Horrible. There we are. What else?
Something else you've got to go and see, and because it's a beautiful film, it's going to win every award going, and Bill Nighy is going to get a BAFTA for this, and you heard it here first. I haven't voted yet, but he will absolutely get my vote for his part in a brand new film that's just come out in the cinema and on Netflix called Living, which is just an absolutely beautiful story. It's a period piece. It's sort of post-war when Britain is being rebuilt, and there are lots of sort of bomb sites all over London. And infrastructure is falling apart. And he is a planner. He's a sort of planner at the GLC, or whatever the GLC used to be called.
GLC, of course, Greater London Council, for our American viewers.
Council, agreeing to what could be built and what couldn't be built. And in walks a group of women who want to build a playground on a bomb site somewhere in the, you know, the bombed out East End of London. And he has always been there, really, in this incredibly boring job. He is a civil servant who's really had the most dull and uninteresting life, and he just, you know, stamps acceptance on a piece of paper or non-acceptance, refusal on a piece of paper. That's all he's ever done. He's a very quiet, a very gentle man. He's got a rather bullying son and a rather not nice daughter-in-law, and his wife, and he's a widower, so we don't really know the story of his wife at all. And it starts, this is where the film actually starts, I'm not giving anything away, by being told he's got a year to live. And then you go, okay, so where's this story going from here? Am I really just going to watch an hour and a half's worth of the decline of this man who's had this very dull and uninteresting life? But
no, I was just thinking, what a brilliant way to encourage planners to get the hell on with it. I might try that. Kensington Council, watch out. I'm coming to get you.
I know.
Say that I'm the bad one.
What? Excuse me?
Nothing.
Just a thought.
Nothing. The world is watching, Philip.
Well, this is based on a film that was made originally by the absolutely wonderful filmmaker Kurosawa, and Ishiguro, who is a British but formerly Japanese writer, novelist, and screenwriter has adapted it for not for modern times, but clearly, as a contemporary piece now. And it's marvelous. There's so much warmth in it. You know that there's going to be a sad ending, and in a way, thank goodness that you do know that, because otherwise it would just be plain sad at the end. But actually, you just feel as though that 1 year is a life well lived, and he just does stuff that makes a difference, and you just think that year made up for all the boring stuff that came before it. And he is absolutely just note perfect in every single look. He's very quiet. You have to sort of listen in to
He's
the
an
screen.
amazing actor, isn't he? Because he looks like he's doing nothing, and he's doing everything.
Exactly. And his body doesn't move very much. And it's just, you just feel absolutely blessed to be in front of this extraordinary performance by Bill Nighy. So
he is
like
just
Bill Nighy, got to go. It's brilliant.
And it's called Living.
It's called Living. It's called Living. Yeah,
it's interesting. I'm a huge Bill Nighy fan. On BBC Sounds, I always listen to the Charles Paris stories, where he plays an actor, but he solves crimes, kind of thing.
Right.
And I was fascinated. I listened to the original series starring the great Francis Matthews, who filmed but Francis Matthews was a dashing, debonair matinee idol. And it was written in the 70s, recorded in the very early 80s. I swear to God, it sounds like it's come out of 1936. I couldn't believe the language, the way people were treated. I was like, this can't be the same character. Well, they've redone it, and it's just called Charles Paris with a double S. It's absolutely magnificent. And the difference when Bill Nighy plays the character with his kind of louche, world-weary, oh man, he's such a great actor. Anyway, there we
I just say, speaking of Paris, right?
Yes.
Need to tell you, I said this week I managed to watch Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, the remake.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was terrific.
No. Okay, well,
No, I'm sorry. I know that this is disgraceful, because obviously I love the Angela Lansbury original, but I did genuinely think the remake was very good.
Okay, all right. Well, that's
and your mum's saying, "You see, it must be it's got to be a family thing, Chantal. It's got to be a family thing." Yeah. Wonderful film, says Linda Dave. No relation. Was it panned? I don't know anything about it. It's not my.
It wasn't massively well received.
No.
No. And I mean, it's sweet and it's gorgeous, but it's utterly pointless. But it's lovely for all of that.
That's life.
That's
how I see my life.
That is, can I just say, Chantal's hit the nail on the head. It's nice. It's easy to watch, but it is pointless. I liked it.
Anyway,
it's a bit like me, really. Short, sweet, and pointless. Anyway.
Well,
actually, it wasn't short. It was nearly 2 hours.
I'm debating the sweet. I'm debating the sweet part of that now. There is a film on either Netflix or Amazon that just blew me away in how terrible it was. So it stars Megan Fox, who can't act. I'm sorry, the woman can't act. She can act her way out of it. She looks pretty, if you like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Bruce Willis. And Bruce Willis. So it's one of those movies, Chantal, where Bruce Willis appears 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes throughout the whole film. Every other word they say is F. And I'm thinking, there is no script here. The story is terrible. And I have never seen, you go from the wonderful Bill Nighy, and you'll say he's probably getting a BAFTA. It's magnificent. Bruce Willis, I swear to God, it was like, you doing anything this afternoon, Bruce? No, I know he's ill. I know. Let's not get into that. I know you do. No, I've got a car. I'll come in and do these 2 scenes. One in a car, one in a diner.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody deliver lines. It's called Midnight in the Switchgrass. Just don't. Just don't.
Midnight in the Switchgrass.
Well, the Switchgrass, they're down somewhere deep south in Tennessee, and everybody talks like that. Takes 20 minutes to get one sentence out. And the Switchgrass is where she used to hide as a little girl.
Okay.
Hideous. And we're supposed to believe that Megan Fox is a top FBI profiling genius who can fight
I do so hate it though when films just have swearing in it for the hell of it.
I've got a very potty mouth. As anyone who knows me, I mean, I can't help. I've got a very potty mouth. It's
true.
just a word. It doesn't matter to me. It's just like abbreviation.
Honestly, he's Gordon Ramsay of radio.
Yeah, I am. I have to be very careful. But this, and I'm sitting there watching it with Ebony, and I'm going like, Ebony, don't listen, because it was pointless. Every other word. I thought, why have you written such an offensive? I don't care about swearing. Not every word in every line. Come on, it's just boring. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah. Well, I think you and I could probably write a better screenplay between us, Russ. So maybe that's what we should be doing with our Saturday.
Wouldn't that be great? I'd love that. Oh my God.
Excuse me, who's the one in Hollywood at the moment? You know, I'm just saying.
You're in Cricklewood and you're fooling nobody.
Oh.
That's what it says behind you. Crickle. We can't see the crickle bar. We just see all wood.
Anyway.
It actually says Jake Wood.
Very good. Our special guest.
Those
things would. Right.
See what I did there?
I do. Very clever. What else?
So if you want to watch something that is like super popular, and that's not necessarily a good thing because this is yet another one of the true crime dramas that are just flooding the airwaves at the moment. But there is something called A Friend of the Family, which is on Sky, and it's on now. I think it originated on Peacock in the United States. And it's just another bonkers story of another set of very bonkers people behaving in the most bonkers way. This time it's two Mormon families. One's got three daughters, one's got three sons. Both fathers are called Bob. So one is called Bob and one is called B, which is extremely confusing. And the one called B kidnaps the 12-year-old daughter of the other family, runs away with the 12-year-old and convinces her that they are part alien. They have been invaded by aliens, and she has to sleep with him to continue the alien race. And he's pre-recorded little messages that he, secretes into her the room at night where she is. So she suddenly hears these things on a radio, all of which is, him with some weird squawky type box speaking in some mad alien language. And you're watching this thing and you think, I cannot believe this story is true. But it's true because actually at the very beginning, it's introduced by the woman who was the 12-year-old at the beginning of the story.
Oh my God.
Oh my.
So she wasn't taken off in a UFO. Well, that's a relief because I was a bit worried.
Wasn't taken off in a UFO. Well, I haven't got to the end yet. I've only got to episode 7 and I'm still with it. What is known pretty early on is that this girl is kidnapped by him twice. And I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to tell you any more of the story.
And this is called what? Sorry?
It's called A Friend of the Family. And literally,
it's called Bob a Job.
Yeah, two families living 2 streets apart, both went to the same Mormon church. This goes back to 1974, so this is not a new story. It's actually rather well done. It's a good, it looks like a good period piece. It's very true to the 1970s, but it's just a crazy, crazy bonkers story.
And where is it?
And well, it's on Sky. It's on now. It originated on Peacock for anybody who can get that particular streaming service. But Now and Sky is where you'll find it in the UK.
Did you go back to, that sounds, I love stuff like that. Did you, because you sit there going, it can't be right. It can't be, it can't be. And you're watching it and it is.
Doesn't make sense.
Have you come back to The Devil's Hour? Because I gave up halfway through episode 2 and I think, shall I come back? I couldn't get on with it. Couldn't get on with it at all. It was so slow. And Peter Capaldi, I love Peter Capaldi. I think he's mesmerizing, but I just thought, I don't really care. I don't know what's going on. And worse, I don't care.
Any quick fire suggestion? It has to be in the singular.
Quick fire only if you like Eddie Redmayne and Jessica Chastain. Again, it's a true life story. It's called The Good Nurse, who is in fact Eddie Redmayne. Dates back, I think, 20 years. He is a nurse in New York State. Things go horribly, horribly, horribly wrong. I'll leave it at that. But if
just a bit.
Thank you, Chantal.
When the credit, I'm not going to say anything about that very, very briefly, but when they put not credits, but like, you know, captions come up. That last caption, I yelled. I'm not saying anything else. I yelled. I yelled.
Well, if that isn't a cliffhanger, I don't know what is. Chantal, same time for next week for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
There we go. And that's it. We're done for another day. Thank you very much to Chantal. Thank you to Jake Wood. Splendid little show, I'd say today, wouldn't you?
It was nice, and I'm loving the green screen. Send me the link. Monday.